And we are live. Oh my God. So when all right, Hawk, just in all honesty, things went fast. So I increased my podcasting, like these long form conversations. And if the loyal listeners and probably listeners to the podcast, one of the first episodes was this amazing conversation that we had in a hotel room in New York. But when I say hotel room, it's not like it's family friendly, so you don't have to like hit pause or whatever or skip this part. It was a very good conversation. Hawk and I, we work a lot together, and we have a lot of laughs, and also have a lot of serious conversations. And coincidentally, I appeared on your on your radio show, and then you told me something that just, I don't know, was crazy to me. Like that we've been friends for how long?
Like 10 years. Yeah.
All right. When you say 10 years like that, you're like, yeah, 10 years. I don't know. Like, not that. Come on. It's like we're friends 10 years.
10 years.
Okay. So yeah, but that was not actually the thing that really wanted me to get you and Sarah on the show. But that was it last week or the week before that. It was actually you guys 1 year anniversary.
Yes.
Almost
2 weeks ago.
Almost 2 weeks ago. Yeah. We were actually married on 2202 or 2220.
I was over there like 2202. That was like a very long time ago.
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
What was that? Was that like? Is that a thing? Like
it was totally
numbers.
When we back home, we just figured out about the dates. We didn't have any idea. We chose these dates. You remember?
Yeah.
And it was really special.
Oh, then we found out we were breaking the law.
Yeah.
What law? What
apparently, because I don't know. You got to go through some kind of process because
like City Hall. Like, what?
Not a citizen and of the U.S. I'm not a citizen of Brazil, but
yeah,
we're indigenous, so we don't really.
Yeah, screw that.
We don't really.
You just want to marry. You don't have any intention to do anything. You just want to marry.
Yeah. And he called a lawyer, and the lawyer was like, "Oh, well, you're committing fraud," and blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Oh boy, okay, you're not my lawyer."
Oh, well, like, all right, let's back that up a little bit because this is, I'm getting whiplash. So.
Oh, sorry, no.
So the two of you guys, because I assume you met at the Perm Forum. When was it? 2018. 2018, 19, right? Yeah. All right. Fell in love. I assume. And then chose to get married, and then you tried both in Brazil as well as in the USA.
No, actually, no. We got married here.
Yeah.
We're traditionally married in both, but we got married here legally, and then just tried to get her legal paperwork going and stuff like that. And when we did that, the lawyer was like, "Oh, you're already married? That's fraud." Blah 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 blah. And started going off on us, and we're like, "I don't even know what you're talking about."
One.
Yeah, it was definitely someone that doesn't support immigration, and as an immigration lawyer, I guess they're handy to have when you're trying to stop people from coming into the country.
Yeah.
But the second lawyer was definitely
she was so nice. Yeah, she was explaining everything and what you need to do and what's happening, and she was really nice and making me so comfortable because I was so panicking the first time. I was wait for the. I told you I I don't know how everything is working here, but I think everything's like so different for me. And anyway,
this was right after what happened at the airport.
I was so afraid already because I have a very hard situation in the airport. And after this, she was saying, "Oh, you guys make fraud," and I said, "Oh my God."
Yeah. So basically, when she came back to the U.S., I had gone to Brazil.
Yeah.
And
you spent 2 months there? Almost 3 months.
Almost 3 months. And, you know, talked to the whole Yawanawa Council about our intentions and what we're doing. And basically, like, Tashka was like, yeah, this is, you know, Sara's husband, to the entire council in the middle of the Amazon when I was alone, all by myself, and wasn't sure what the heck was going to happen. Couldn't really speak the language, and it was pretty interesting. But anyway, came back here. I had stuff I had to do, and then Sara came later.
And I need back after 1 month. They gave me 1 month to be here.
Yo, so they held her at the airport. They profiled her as soon as she got there. Held her at the airport for 3 hours or so.
Yeah, almost 3 hours.
I was talking to the security. They wouldn't let me in. Obviously, you know, my daughter and I were waiting in the waiting area outside, and they held her. And the reason I knew they held her is because she said she was going through getting her bag, and then she said that the police are going through her bag, and that was the last thing I heard. So I figured, all right, well, you know, that happens. Probably take about 15, 20 minutes or whatever. Hour goes by, and I'm talking to security. I'm like, you know, why are you guys holding Sara? And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, look, I didn't ask if you were holding Sara. I said, why are you holding Sara?
Yeah.
And they said, well, we don't have to tell you anything. I said, well, she's on American soil and she doesn't have rights. And they said, oh, everybody has rights. I said, then she has the rights to an advocate. And I'm her advocate. So what's going on? And the one cop was like, no advocacy here, blah, blah, blah. And then the other cop was like, well, that was pretty stupid. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. I'll go check. An hour later, they come out, take pictures of my ID and you know, look at my phone. They went through every message on her phone. They went through every picture on her phone. Everything.
Yes, I remember when I was talking with my friend in Brazil, and she asked me, "You moving?" I said, "No, I just want to visit. I will be back. I have my work here. I live here." And they saw this message, and I think they was really thinking, "Oh, she don't want to live here. I just want to come to visit." And yes, anyway, they saw all my messages. They check everything, my phone. They want to make sure I know. I don't want to really, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. So that happened. Finally, they let her go. And then they stopped her again on the way out. Another officer tried to stop her on the way out.
Yes. Just check my bag?
Yeah. Again, remember when you were coming out?
Yeah. After everything, they gave me 6 months to be here, and I was all finally, I was take my bag, and I was just ready to meet you.
No. What happened? They stamped her for 6 months the first time, and then after all this, they crossed it off and re-stamped her and said, you need to be out of here in 30 days or we're going to revoke all your papers and you'll never come back again.
So that was the same instance, the same.
Yeah. The same. They
wow. They
stopped me 2 times.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she came out. Obviously, she was really shaken and in tears, but we got through that mess.
Yeah.
Then we had to scramble to figure out to get a lawyer and see what we could do, and then she still had to go back at the end of the month. And of course, COVID happened, so everything's closing down,
Yeah.
So it was interesting. Then
you was in Brazil after 6 months.
Yeah,
after 6 months I was there.
Yeah, so
and you almost was. Yes, another big history. So many.
So we were separated for 6 months again. When we went back, and everything was crazy. So I ended up going to Brazil, and when I got there, there was a few problems going there, but when I got there, the federal police held me in custody for 5 days at the airport, and finally, FUNAI sent a letter to the federal police saying that I was protected under FUNAI, being married to.
Yeah.
Can you explain what FUNAI is? I know what it is, but I can imagine that a lot of other people don't know what FUNAI is.
Yeah.
FUNAI is organ. How can I say organ?
Federal agency.
Yeah, and they protect indigenous people in Brazil. They should protect, but now it's not like they really protect.
The government of Brazil has defunded so many agencies that are working to protect indigenous peoples and even medical supplies, stuff like that. But I figured we'd get into that in a little bit. But yeah.
And then they give you a letter to explain you was going to Yawanawa, or we was expect for you already, and all the chiefs know about this, and it's not like secret. Everybody is really merry and just wanna be able to arrive there.
Yeah.
And yes, anyway, they was explained you will be there, and the Polo is head agency in Caracas.
Yeah.
And they will be checking to everything. They will be checking you, and you can't be in the city. You need to be in the land. You can't visit any community. You need to be in your community. And we have so many roads to do.
Yeah.
And yes, and FUNAI send this letter for you, explain all this information, and you almost was
deported.
deported.
Almost deported. Yeah. But no, everything worked out. They actually stamped my passport, put with no end date, because I was considered indigenous in Brazil, which is more than they do here. Yeah, it was an interesting. It was an interesting
week.
It was an interesting everything.
Yeah.
But we made it. And let me tell you, it's so much easier getting a COVID test there in the middle of nowhere. They do a blood test, in an hour, whether you have COVID or not. And
okay, I thought COVID test was like with this. I don't know, the thing that push up your nostrils.
Yeah, so that here, I had to do that before I left. And when I got there, when I got to Tarwakat, the FUNAI agency hooked me in with allowed us to go get another test, right? In Tarwakat, and it was a blood test, and you knew in an hour. Clear in an hour. So that was great. And then right after I got cleared, they shipped us out to the village.
Yeah.
Because, you don't want to stay in any place that you could potentially get it again, or be exposed. I mean, I never had COVID, but any place that you could be exposed.
Yeah.
Especially like in Tarwaká, Rio Branco was really bad.
Rio Branco was very bad for a while. They're like the second worst in the world, aside from New York.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an adventure. The first year of our marriage has been an incredible adventure.
Right. Yeah. Good thing you call it adventure, actually, because at least it puts you in some kind of looking at it from as a learning process, as a something that you can instead of like dwell on the negativity, you thrive on like, all right, let's see this as a process. And yeah, shit. Like I remember that I think you sent me a text off, like when Sarah was, I think at the airport situation. That yeah, I didn't know. Like
I thought I was getting arrested that day.
No, it was. But what I remember was that that you really were like, how should I put it? Almost like in despair, right? As in like, yeah, they're holding her against their will, and yeah, I didn't know how to help. I just like, I don't know about immigration law.
People disappear this way, especially Indigenous women, and it was terrifying.
Yeah,
it was terrifying, and to just see, the the hate in these people, and the total disconcern and disregard, and like they could do anything. You have no control,
Yeah.
And it's not like we were the only people in the airport. She was highly profiled, and then after she left the first group that held her for 3 hours, somebody else grabbed her again on her way out. So she was totally profiled at that time. It was really scary situation. But yeah, it just really shows the reality. I mean, this year has really shown the reality of the mindset here too. I mean, everything came to light this year, which is good and at the same time crazy. But it's stuff that we've been talking about forever. It's just interesting how it all came out.
Yeah, how do you look at things when you talk about mindset? And so, what are your observations from what happened this year? And I'm not only talking about what happened in the U.S., but in Brazil, like with the current administration. That's wow. That is. I don't know. People do. I don't think a lot of people know actually about. The current they know about the current president of Brazil, but they don't know how the indigenous peoples in Brazil are being treated. They only hear some I don't know even stories, but headlines that people read headlines, but they don't know actually how the situation is. Because I think that is what people should read and see more about the situation of the indigenous peoples in the Amazon in Brazil. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many people know this, but over the last few years, maybe like 5 years, I've been doing a lot of back and forth work with trying to support what's going on in the Amazon. I've sent. We have a videographer that's gone down to see the Maluku peoples and see what's going on directly with them. Some of the chiefs that we've actually worked with in the past are no longer with us, and because of they were murdered by miners and farmers and people that are trying to take over the forests. And this is a very, very real situation down in Brazil. And I think what I wanted to do was just try to get video evidence of what was happening. And I sent my buddy Will down there twice, and we caught footage of the fires happening along their territory at that time, and talking with the community. The second time, he wasn't able to get to the community. He was able to get to some of the fires, but the battle was happening directly. It was unsafe for him to go to their community because it was just like, I mean, they were leaving bodies in the river, and it's just devastating what was happening. And then what's going on like now still is that Bolsonaro went through a period where he was saying that the indigenous people were the ones bringing the COVID, and really amplifying the ideology of the militia to stop the indigenous. There was sending missionaries into the uncontacted tribes. So actually, while we were there, there's uncontacted tribes that are very close to us, and there's one that's very close to Turwaka that ended up having to leave the jungle, go into Turwaka to get help because they were getting sick.
Yeah.
And then, really pushing this agenda of deforestation for farming and pushing monocropping, and to the point where when we were there, what's the name of the organization that came to, we had a big tribal meeting there, and these forestry people came and were trying to convince the Yawanawa people to start planting soy.
It's people from Bolsonaro government. It was people from Bolsonaro government. How he sent these people for the community. These people has idea, right? They just want to explain to us. They just want to tell us. They just want to tell us what we need to do. And this was like he tell us how good he was, how good things he will do. And like my uncle was surprised. He was, I can't do with this. And so these people really want to put in on mind what they believe, it's good for them. And I remember he was very fast. Everybody was very fast. Everybody was thinking, we can't believe this group is here in your land and tell us we need to do this. We need to believe him. He's good for us. What? It's really like my uncle was leaving because he can listen this.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting to listen to them because they want to support the Yawanawa. They're saying how good they can support the Yawanawa, and then in the same breath saying how good Bolsonaro is to the indigenous, and by having their token tribe and then doing the rest, but they're doing good work with one tribe, but they're really not. They were talking about monocropping and still wanting to convince the Yawanawa that farming was the way to go and all this. It was a really interesting situation, to say the least.
Yeah.
And we had all the chiefs there. I think we even had some Katakina there.
Not this one.
Not at that meeting.
Not that meeting.
Yeah. But we did have all the council chiefs for the Yawanawa, 9 villages, and the white people from the river people, because also, the idea is to, talk with the people of the river that are non-indigenous to, work together so that we're not enemies, so that they don't feel like they have to attack the Yawanawa and keep burning down their forests. You know, right now, if you look at the overhead of Yawanawa territory, you can see the fires all surrounding Yawanawa territory.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, it's a real thing. You know.
How's the community doing right now, Sara? How are they doing?
I think they are doing well. We don't like we still have like this COVID thing happening, but in our community, people is there. They really try to be in the community right now, and but we struggle a lot because in our situation today is not like how is some indigenous people in Brazil. It's very different. We saw it's so sad, it's so strong. And in Yawanawa people today, I don't hear any. We have it dead there, but it's not like it's so many. And the COVID was in all the community, but people was like they don't very strong. I don't know how I can explain.
They
I think
were
it should.
drinking traditional medicines a lot, and they have these teas, these bitter teas that they drink. That they were really adamant about their traditions and about their traditional medicines, and they kept with it. And I think it definitely did help.
And it's one thing I was thinking. It's very good how we was able to see our medicine. You know, for us, like I have so many family. I see day after day like worrying to live in connected with the forest because it is what we need to do. It's what we are. And it was really strong how my people was really taking this medicine and really I don't know explain how.
You're doing a great job.
But for me, it was good example. I was happy to see some community really worried to plant, really worried to really create a way to work in the nature, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it was good. I saw this in my family, especially.
Yeah, it is something that is not, at least how I think about it, is not enough talked about. Is because when you talk about a virus or flu or COVID-19, that lifestyle, nutrition, which includes the knowledge of indigenous peoples, is not enough talked about, and because we also gravitate towards, not we, but like the world immediately gravitates towards vaccines, and for good reason, obviously, because but I just feel that how about lifestyle, exercise, nutrition, and which includes knowledge of indigenous peoples, because like what the people in the Amazon do is similar to what people in, I don't know, all around the world do, and these people all around the world do, is to use their own knowledge of medicinal plants or plants in general, or food and everything else to fight against any diseases or diseases or pandemic or flus and everything else. I just wish that, I don't know, how do you look at it, Hawk? Do you how should I put it?
This is a huge focus for me. Huge focus for me.
What do you mean?
I've worked on this for myself. I've seen it for myself and in practice. You know, I wasn't I'm not the healthiest person. I've not not been the healthiest person. Made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I'm learning. And but what I do notice is that we are part of the planet, right? We are part of the planet, and one of the things that's happened to the human being is being removed from the planet as not part of it. So thinking that we're in control of it, and then we can poison things, and we can poison the water, and it's okay because we can bottle water and give everybody the same water, and give everybody the same plate of food. And that's not okay. For so many reasons, not just the fact that you're mining and destroying water and killing water and poisoning water and thinking you can filter it and it's still going to be water, because it's not. Water is the culmination of all of its parts. It is a living, breathing thing, and it collects all the metals, minerals, and nutrients you need to survive in every environment that you live in. And so in order to adapt to your environment, you need to drink from your environment. You need to eat the foods from your environment. And that's something that 90% of the population at this point, maybe 70% of the population at this point, cannot do anymore.
When you talk about environment, because this is an interesting topic, because this is where people get lost a lot. Is like when you talk about environment, is it like because drinking Fiji water from Fiji is also environment, or are you talking about like environment in general, or environment as in like what's local to you or near your own?
It has to be local
community.
It has to be local, because the air, the water, everything that's happening with the ecosystem, the adaptation has to be local to where you are, right? So all the foods that grow in your area will balance each other. The water will give you the nutrients that you need in that environment, right? So if we're taking the same water and giving it to everybody all over the planet, they're not getting what they need for that environment. Like if you're darker skin, you are meant to be in a much sunnier environment, right? Because your skin's going to reflect some of the sun, and you're not going to absorb some of the vitamins that you're supposed to get from that environment, right? So when you're now placed into another environment where the people are much lighter skinned because they don't get quite as much sun, so they have to be able to absorb a lot more of those vitamins when they do get the sun. All right. Now you're still only absorbing a fraction of the vitamins that you need, because your body's adapted to a different environment, right? So what I like to say is, like, look, yeah, we're all human, but we all come from different environments, right? So you can't take two iguanas, right? A rock iguana and a green iguana, and switch them and expect them to survive in those environments. They're going to get sick. They're going to die. If not, they're going to get cancers. Something's bad's going to happen, you know. And now with a pandemic like this, we're seeing it in real time, right? So deficiencies in vitamins are very prevalent. More people are prone to pre-existing conditions because of the foods and the water we're drinking, because we're not being able to adapt to the environment that we're in, right? So if the earth, if our mother can learn us, or we can and know what we need, she'll give us what we need to survive in any environment that we get stuck in.
Yeah.
Right? So now US is a good demonstration of this, right? Especially over here in New York, we got a very big mix over here, you know, but everybody's eating off of the same plate. Everybody's drinking the same water. They're not given the opportunity to adapt, you know? So we're reliant on pharmaceutical companies to make that adaptation for us, because we're being lied to, because pharmaceutical and food companies are in bed together, and, you know, Monsanto and all the other things that go along with it. And we're discouraged from growing our own foods, and it makes it very difficult, you know. And then we're being told that, oh, it's okay to put a certain amount of poison in the water because we can always filter it and bring it back to H2O, even though you can't drink H2O. And then you still have to add all the metals, minerals, and nutrients that you would that you need. But we're all drinking the same bottled water. We're only getting that measured quantity of whatever they're adding to it. And that's not realistic. That's not sustainable because it's completely reliant on human intervention. Nothing completely reliant on human intervention is sustainable. But it brings us back to being disconnected from the planet. And if you're connected to the planet, your body will adapt to anything. So our mother, everything's come from our mother, right? So like she has the cure for everything. You know, if it's created here, there's a balance, right? She's in balance, we're not, you know. And so I have such issues with like certain groups that are like, oh, well, you have to be completely vegetarian, or you know, our mass consumption and all the cow farms and everything is destroying the planet. I totally agree with that. But if you go to the Tlinkits and tell them that they have to be completely vegetarian when they've been reliant on salmon and seal forever, that's what they need to survive, right? You can't tell the Sami that they have to have greenhouses everywhere because their bodies are not adapted to that. You know, they can't live without the reindeer. They are symbiotic relationship, you know, and I think that we have to look at ourselves more as animals than as this foreign alien species on this planet.
Right. Yeah. I was about to say like makes a lot of sense, but like of course it makes a lot of sense to me at least. But I think there's for a lot of people this is strange enough. This is new information for a lot of people, and I think that is this day and age, 2021, having experienced we all have experienced the pandemic by everyone and access to information. And still, this is new to everyone. But I think you're absolutely right. It goes all the way to like mindset of people, of being very conscious of. It's actually very simple if you think about it. I don't know, but like, is it that? I don't know who said it, but like that it is hard to think in a simple way. Something along those lines.
You know, I think I have a really good example of just in real time of what happened with me, right?
Okay.
The first time I went down to Brazil, everybody's telling me, "Oh, you need to take all this medicine. Don't drink the water. Blah blah blah. Like you don't eat the food. You're gonna get sick." And I go down there with all of this crazy in my head, right? And so like there, you know, I refuse to drink the water.
Sarah's like,
yo, I refuse to drink the water. I would only drink, and let me tell you, I got sick, and my body reacted to bug bites so bad, you know, that I would get infections, and it was really, it was my own doing, you know. It was my fault because I was like, even though I talk about connecting to the land and you have to adapt to the environment that you're in, I was already in that mindset, right? Of, oh no, like I'm not from there and I'm gonna get sick from all of these things. And it happened. So when I got back, I was sick for a little while. not like I had a parasite or anything like that, but like the bug bites were so bad. I had massive infections.
Yeah, it was fun the first time because
It was fun.
because my mom was take care of his water. Like it's not like how we live there. Or let take care of his water or just drink the same water like the same like the house. And for us, see somebody like afraid for the water, like how we drink water there, we understand. Like when people from here come there, they have this idea already. It's so bad, I will die. Oh, it's so like it's how you put your mind.
Yeah.
And now the second time he was there is so different. He will tell you what's happening, but
Yeah.
it's make us feel comfortable too. I never told you this.
Yeah.
I never told you, but like how I was looking my mom take care of his water, or he don't drink like he need to be like that. It's like okay, it's just different. We respect, but like you need to be like it's
how can you adapt if you don't
Yeah.
allow yourself to adapt?
Right. Yeah.
So the second time I go down there, and I'm down there for months, and we're in the jungle. There is no getting around it. You're drinking from the tributary, you know? And so, and that's the other thing, people, there are still people drinking from the rivers and the tributaries.
No, our village was the last one don't have clean water.
But that's
Yawanawa.
No, but
Yeah.
but yeah, every day or every other day we'd have to carry jugs of water, go over, take the boat, go over to the tributary, fill up the water before the rain, you know, and hope there's nothing dead in the stream upstream, you know, and get your water, because you can't take it directly out of the river, you know. So we have a tributary that was pretty good, but in the rainy season, you know, all bets are off, you know, because it's just so swelled up, and it's just so much.
It's so.
So anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
So anyway, we're drinking directly from it, and I think, and we're eating directly from the earth. We're doing everything right, and you know, I was so healthy, and the bugs weren't bothering me at all, and
you just have a very bad infection in your air.
Oh, I got an ear infection from swimming too much.
I was invited every day because for us we need like at 5 in the morning, for us like at 4, like you need to be like take shower. It show you how you be ready for the day. For us it's very important how we start our day, and how if my family was looking for my husband, like oh, let's give him like a early shower in the morning. And I always inviting him to take a shower in the river. It's so good. We just go, it's all bathroom.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah. And you know, but I was up every morning, 4:30 latest, with the monkeys. I did ceremony every morning with the monkeys. And shower, and so I did get an ear infection because, you know, I'm not used to swimming here every day, and
you're not used to swimming.
Not like that. And my ear literally closed up. I didn't get paranoid that there was some kind of animal living in my ear or anything like that. You know?
Did you? Like for a second, you did.
I mean, for a second, you know, you're like,
yeah. Don't lie.
I had some interesting experiences. You know, we had like 8 to 10 tarantulas on the path on the way to our house. We built a completely traditional house in the middle of the jungle, like not even in the village area. We were in the jungle.
We just cleaned a place and we made a house.
Yeah, and we used jarina leaves and bashuba and bashubin, which are very traditional trees to build canoes and housing, and traditional leaves. The jarinas, the traditional leaves for the house and for the roofing, and it was very Very good. It was very comfortable. It was cooler than the other houses. It was like cooler as in temperature wise.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was cooler too, but but it was very humbling. You know, I really saw the colonization in myself while I was there, and how, you know, we feel like we're so woke and so aware a lot of times, and when you are in the middle of the jungle and you don't have running water, you don't have a bathroom, you can't even, you know, you're lucky if you have a hammer or you know, anything. And I don't care if you have $2 million, it's not going to change your situation.
Yeah.
You know, and so you have to work, you have to fish, you have to plant, you have to take care of your community, and everybody takes care of each other.
Sara, so the first, because I'm very interested in what happens when you in your answer to this question. So Hawk first goes to the community. What was your family, the community's response or reaction, like how he to Hawk, and also like how he adapted?
We was talking about this, I think, last week, and I was telling him how he showed respect for me and for me first, and to be there with my family, because with my people, because in my culture it's respectful when you show how he showed when he was come to the Yawanawa, and he was with me, and he was very confident in who he is, and I think how he was show my family and how my people was feeling him, and the energy, and they don't know nothing about him, don't have any idea who he is. But I think the first contact was more really respectful and from my family. And I remember when we have a conversation with my family, about to marry, only with my family, like a house family. And my father was telling him, like, he really talked with us, wish good things for us, and my mom, everybody was really happy. And they really accept him, they really love him.
No, why don't you tell him what he said? Tell him what he really said.
And my father was telling him, I was so happy because he was advising him to be a good husband, like for me. Something like that. Not advice, but he was saying how happy he was to meet him, and he really think he's good man, and he really feel this about him. And he said, you don't need to, if he's not working how it should be, it's okay. You don't need to marry my daughter. We have family here already. We is part of this family already. And really respect for people, respect for each other, you know, and when they see you, and how he was show respect for my family, I think it was the most like first impactful, and for my people, and for my brother was expect who is this guy, and all my who is this guy is he.
Let me explain this, okay? Because like I don't speak Portuguese. I definitely don't speak Yawanawa. I'm going into the jungle 8 hours into the jungle. Mutum's 12 hours into the jungle, upriver. I know what I'm getting into, you know, and yet I don't know what I'm getting into, but I know what the possibilities are that I'm getting into. And we visited every single community. Every single leader. Sara's family is the hereditary line of the Yawanawa, and all of her uncles are the chiefs of the villages. and then we sat with all of the chiefs of the villages, and that had mothers, and in conference, and they had me speak, and did Tashka translate?
Yes.
Tashka translated for me.
Okay. Sara Yawanawa, for people that don't know.
Yeah, so Tashka Yawanawa is the leader of the Yawanawa. He is a good friend, and you know, I call him uncle, even though he's like, I don't know, how old is he now?
He's just 1 year.
Maybe, no.
Yeah, he's 12.
He's 40 what?
45.
No, he's 47.
No way.
He's 45.
He's 45? Is
I
Tashka
think.
45? Man, he needs like better skincare.
Oh.
No. Sorry, Tashka.
Tasha, if you're watching.
He's 44.
He told me I was wearing ballerina shoes when I was there because I had these weird. Anyway, whatever.
Hold on. Finish the sentence.
I got these like water shoes that you like. I don't know. They Velcro off to the side, and you know they're not like sandals. You know, so he was like, "What are you wearing? Ballerina shoes?" Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, you know, I did a lot of things I probably shouldn't have. I walking through the jungle like at 6 o'clock at night with no boots on. And there's a lot of snakes. But anyway, we went. Where was I? We went. We talked to the council. Oh, I spoke to everyone at the council. I said, you know, basically, I'm grateful to be here. I, you know, want to learn how we can work together. You know, because it wasn't all about us. You know,
A little bit though.
And then at the end, and I said, yeah, and I'm here with my partner Sarah. Right?
You didn't give me a chance. You don't give me a chance to because when he told just for my in the meeting, it was really seriously, and I was working with the all community, and I was like kind of, I don't know how can I explain.
Yeah, she's was like Tashka's right hand man,
and
you know?
like everybody like really knows me there, and special my life situation, and he told my husband, my partner. And what I can say, I'm your partner too. When Tashka turned partner
into like. Tashka says, "Yeah, this is Sarah's husband." Like,
what?
Yeah. So it kind of like put everything out there, and then you had to speak afterwards.
Yeah, and I need to speak. I need to say some more at the meeting and really say, confirm I'm his wife, and by this time,
right?
I know that completely.
Yeah.
Different everything.
Yeah. So we had a dinner with all of the leaders that night after the meeting, right?
Yes, we have a meeting. We have a dinner with everybody, and just like a kind of deep conversation, because it's deep conversation more about this with everybody, because it was a surprise for everybody like in this situation.
Yeah.
But not to mention she had like two other chiefs that like that one that were claiming her. Yeah.
No. So there were other gentlemen that wanted to. Oh, okay. So you beat the competition, then?
I mean, this is a story for another time. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
The dynamics between the men and the women, right? There's Sarah's a very powerful woman for her people because of what she's been able to do for herself and and to show women how empowered they can be.
Okay.
Yawanawa culture is different than here, and I think there's a lot of cultures around the world that are different, right?
Mm. Okay.
I mean, I don't want to tell Sarah's story, but what I can say is that you doing this and doing what's good for you has been very empowering, right?
Yeah.
And can help a lot of women in situations that Sarah was in.
Right. Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, I can say. Yes. Yes, I don't know if we can talk about this right now, but just complete how he was saying about this, about myself. Um, my my family is my women from my family is very powerful,
Okay.
and they I have my uncle today helping some us to see how strong we are, and for me
Your
to
aunt,
my aunt.
yeah, her aunt's a shaman.
Yeah, and for me it's really important to say something, to do something, especially
Mm-hmm.
for myself, for women, for my people, and for women from the world. Really, we really need to be feeling powerful.
Yeah. Oh.
Just,
Do you want to
no,
tell?
no.
No. We don't have to talk about it because I'd like to take a couple steps back, actually, if that's okay. I think what was it, 2019? You went for when we all met at the Burma Forum, and you were part of the the Project Access, right? The training thing. Yeah. So what? I'm always fascinated by people, like what makes them go do something as big as going to the United Nations. What people's story is, why they decided to do to go all the way from the communities to the Pyramid Forum in New York.
Why did you go?
I think how I was, for me, and when you talk about our fights for indigenous fights, when you talk about our strength or challenge I think this is how I feel for me to when Tasha told me I have opportunity to come here. I was feeling this way to really meet really powerful people and indigenous leader and really be able to be together and thinking and really do something for my community and share all this knowledge with another people is amazing. And I was feeling like it's big responsibility for me to go there, to be here today, and to be in
Project Access.
yes, project
Right,
access was really responsibility for me because I really feel responsible for my action and what I should do for help my people and help women and help kids and indigenous, and I think people need to be connected with, to be real.
Yeah, but in all honesty, your English was already good back then, but it's amazing.
Thank you.
Ever since, and it's knowing what happened in between, obviously. But it's amazing. I think your English is even better than Hawks, actually.
True story.
In many ways.
It starts to be better too.
I'm working on it. My Yawanawa, I think, is better than Portuguese at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
He understands very Yawanawa. He don't like Portuguese is so hard to understand. But Yawanawa, when my family talk with him in the village, I feel you understand, like you have this easy understanding. I don't know how I can say.
Yeah, when I talk to your uncle or Pana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, and you still talk to them over the phone or in some way right now?
Yeah, I mean, we have everybody uses WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
So we have a big family conversation for the bigger family, and then we have the Shakobana village conversation going, and then we talk to Shakobana all the time, and
Yeah.
Mateos and Nishiraka, and those are Shakobana, Sarah's son, and Mateos and Nishiraka are her brothers. We talk to them all the time.
Yeah. Okay. For people that are watching and listening, I didn't ask a question as like, as in like, means people are primitive or whatever. I'm not asking the question because of that, but more in line of like, right, you're practicing the Yawanawa language. That's why I'm asking like that. So for people that are watching and listening, because I can already like see people like rolling their eyes, like, holy shit, what is this guy up to? Where is he going with this question?
Yeah.
No, sorry.
And we're gonna get that into more of the communication aspect later on in the podcast.
All right, yeah, just give me a signal, yeah, when you want to talk about that. This is a freestyle, free flow podcast conversation anyway. So
well, we didn't get to the village. We didn't get to what we did in building the village in the last year. So I figured we'd talk about that then.
Hey, like I'm just listening. That's what I'm just listening and asking questions. So like whatever you want to talk about, man. Like seriously, we could talk about that right now, or my follow-up question to the Permanent Forum was to Sarah was, all right, Sarah, 2019, go to New York, and out of all the 3,500 people that show up to the Permanent Forum, you pick out this guy. He's a very good friend of mine. But just is there something that you want to share about that this story, or you don't have to share everything, obviously, but I think it's kind of, we all could use some good news nowadays. So some nice stories. So if you're willing, Sarah or Hawk, like if you want to share. Out of all the people.
I mean, she clung onto my leg. I couldn't even do anything else at the UN.
Yeah, right.
That's not true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember when I saw him the first time, and we was in hotel already. Everybody was meet. I think he was talking with you or maybe with Vito. I don't know. I don't remember that. But I just was like,
what an idiot.
Right.
I need to get king anymore.
What am I doing here?
What am I doing here? And we was talk, like we was spend time together, and I was really enjoying, really happy, like I was feeling really comfortable because I don't speak. My English is very bad, like hard for me to be around people speaking all the time. And with him, how he was doing, like working, things together, I think we was connected like the first time already. How we do, and I think we was on the same page already because how we work, I think. And I come from Yawanawa, and he's from his people here, and we was with another people there. And I think I was feeling comfortable already to be around indigenous people, but to be with him, I was feeling really, I don't know. I remember when I was.
She didn't have a chance. I was just like
all the,
No, I'm kidding.
I remember when I give so many bracelets to. I always have so many things for my people with me, and I remember when I asked you to give to you a bracelet.
Mm-hmm. She didn't just ask me.
And my mom made this bracelet, and I was bring with me, and I don't want to sell. I should sell how I work with crafts too. I should sell, but when I told him I saw you, I just want to give to you this bracelet because for me, how my mom was explain about design and all this design, how it's mean for us. I was really feeling my heart. I need to give for this man. I was looking very strong man, like really proud. I don't know. I don't know how I can explain, but anyway, I was in love already, and no chance for me anymore.
Okay. Why are you?
She first of all, she explains this bracelet to me, right?
Okay.
It's got the two cobras coming
together. Yeah, Noah.
And how her and her mother made this bracelet, and then she puts it on my arm, right? Okay. And I said, hey, wait a minute. I said, in our culture, that's marriage right there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, like, for us, like if I give for you bracelet, I tell you some message in the same time, like because why you give bracelet? Right. No, you want to talk with me later, you want my number? Right. Something like this. and
get straight to it. Yeah. Okay.
To him, I was so embarrassed because I don't know explain how I marry you right now, but I was telling him my culture when we give this gift. When I put the bracelet in your arms, it's really kind of
important.
It's really
right. It's significant.
Yeah. And I was trying to explain because I don't want to feel like, oh, I'm marry you now. I just want to like I was really.
Yeah, you want to take it slow. You want to like do it.
I don't want to be like, she wants to marry me right now. No, I just was really happy to meet him, and really I want to give to him this gift for my people because for me it's big meaning.
Yeah.
Right. And,
so we weren't even in the same group at Project Access. Like we all broke into groups and did helped with the writing up
and everything. Yeah.
But I had talked to you about some of the things that you were interested in and what you were doing, and we decided to do a joint statement to the floor, which would
so surprise,
which took a lot of time because like the language barrier was a lot stronger then. So we communicate basically through the computer with Google Translate and spent a lot of long nights working together on the statement. You know how it is.
So the whole statement writing is your response to the bracelet thing? Is that like?
No, I think that led up to the bracelet.
What?
I think that led up to the bracelet.
Oh, okay, that led up to the bracelet. Ah, okay.
Yeah, the bracelet wasn't right away.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
I was like 2 days into it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make this sound good. Like
yeah. Okay. No, go ahead.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was very educational. You learn a lot about somebody when you don't speak the same language. You actually have to pay attention better to each other, and I think
that's such a powerful statement, as unintentional, obviously, but can you unpack that a little bit, like experiences and like how it all happened, as in like communication. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, communication was key.
Yeah.
And we always keep
Remember.
that on top of our minds, because we do come from two totally different cultures. We do. I have to remember how colonized I am a lot of times, and how different this world is than the Yawanawa world, and things that I take for granted or assume are not always the case. And so having to go through this really intense period, I think it was very good that we spent months and months and months apart through the first 2 years. And we were communicating a lot through text and translate, and really to better understand each other.
Okay.
We actually had a real opportunity to listen to each other and to hear each other. And I think that's something that we take for granted a lot in this world.
Because usually the opposite happens. Usually when you spend months and months apart, and you do try to communicate, because communication, communication goes. What a lot of people think is communication is just talking, well, but so usually the opposite happens. That you, instead of like growing, you grow apart instead of growing towards each other. So there's something has to be, at least thinking about it, is like in the way that you communicate in terms of.
You also have to let go of control, right?
Can you explain it to me?
Yeah, one of the things that I find with relationships is there's this whole ownership and control that drowns out the relationship. That expectation that you're with me, you have to be for me and with me no matter what, and now like there's this some kind of ownership of the other person, and you don't realize how much you carry that, right, until you have to let it go. Like you have to let it go, and then you have COVID on top of it. You have Sara is in the jungle for weeks at a time with absolutely no communication. In the beginning of our relationship, it's difficult, and then, on top of that, the intertribal dynamics and everything, it was really an understanding of being partners rather than I don't know. This colonized way of thinking about what a relationship is, or this ownership. I have to let go of everything. You can't, I can't worry about what she's doing down there. I can't worry about who she's around. I can't worry about who she's talking to. I can't worry about any of that stuff. I worry about her safety, make sure she's okay. Hopefully she'll be able to communicate in a little while. And when she does, I relish the time that we have, instead of, and then realizing that she's going through the same process that I'm going through. It's just that we're in different places. And so we've had to deal with that on a very extreme level a few times already.
Yes, I remember when after I was back to Brazil, and I was in Mutum, in the village. And I remember when I talked with you, and my family was in the city, and they was run for the land because COVID was like nobody knows what can happen, like everybody will die or something like it was like something like this. And I don't have a chance to talk with you every day, like so it's really hard connection there. And I remember this day, and you told me mama was organize everything because she need to leave from the city. She need to be in the land because they will close. Nobody can be able to
leave.
Leave, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be in Turwaka or you're gonna be in the jungle.
And I was in the village, and my mom and my son was in the city, and I need to stop this call because I don't have connection forever, just a few minutes. And I remember when Hawk told me she's trying to leave because the police was closed the road already.
Yeah.
They were closing the next morning.
Yeah, actually, it was.
Yeah, and I don't have any idea what's gonna happen with us because, like, it's really we was talk, we have a plan, but like we don't know what's gonna happen if I will be able to see you someday again because it's special, like live in different place, and especially with COVID too, and for me was in the jungle so hard, like a communication is everything is another reality. It's total different, totally. And it was hard because I feel like people. I feel I don't have control anything anymore. Like people want to control everything. Like how it's happened. This virus, they it's just crazy. I don't know how I can explain, but it was really sad memory because I feel like we don't know what's gonna happen anymore.
So Scattercoke actually helped support getting people to the village, and at that time we only had one house in the village, a small house. that was the first one we fixed up, and then Nishoka ended up going to the village first and getting things situated, and getting things planted, and then Mateos, and then COVID hits. Like then everybody had to get to the jungle as fast as we could. We were trying to get things set up for everybody. Unfortunately, I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much resources you have outside of the jungle. Once you're in the jungle, you're in the jungle. And so, it was difficult. It was difficult making sure that we got the whole family out of Turwaka. There was still your sister was stuck there.
It's so like the panic was the horse because like how people was panic, how we was feeling panic, like with the whole situation, especially when I know my future husband is another countries, the host place too. It's really hard situation for us in last year. It's really a difficult time with some situation of family too. Yeah.
And also like her grandmother is she's 104 years old, so traveling to the village, we had to make sure everything was perfect for her to be able to even travel 8 hours to the river, and that there was a place for her to go to. So while we were there, the last time we were there, we got the big house set up. We got the big house built, our house built,
my brother's house,
and Charlie's house is built now. Her other brother. We got
2 more houses coming.
We have 2 more houses coming. We have also we have solar. We were dealing with very old diesel generator that would break down a lot. I would have to fix it quite a few times, and with just scraping, trying to make things work, but we were doing it, and now we have we're looking at in the next few months having how many families be there?
14 families.
14 families. So we went from beginning of last year with just a half a house to to now, in the next couple months, there'll be 14 families living in this new village of Shakovana village there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all like family,
Family,
close family,
and like aunts and uncles, and you call your cousins brothers and sisters.
Sure. Yeah.
They're your brothers and sisters.
Yes, it's a kind to bring my family in this village again. We had our village in the past, and before we was in the city one time, and but I remember my whole family in the same village. Like my mom is broad, my mom is father and mom, and it's good memory. I was really remember this.
So you grew up in Seven Star Village, right?
No,
Oh,
New Hope.
New Hope Village.
Yeah.
And Seven Star later?
No, Moton later.
Moton later. Yeah. So Sarah's always lived in the jungle until you were a teenager, right?
Yeah, until child.
Yeah. So I mean, this whole it's just really good to see them go back, and the Yawanawa went from, what was it, 2 villages, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years ago? There was 2 villages 9 or 10 years ago. And Tashka's been doing this work for what, 20 years now, for 20 something years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And what he's been able to do in helping the Yawanawa is just astronomical. They went from 2 villages, now they have 9 villages. And they went from like 300 Yawanawa to now it's
1,000.
like almost 2,000 now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're really like bringing their people back, and their ceremonies and their traditions, and it's just really an accomplishment, and it just gives me hope for others that can be done.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that idea that we can go back is seems so far-fetched for people in different parts of the world. And the Yawanawa they were slaves to the rubber trade.
Yeah.
They were taken into slavery for the rubber trees, for a long time, and then they were in the city and dealing with, Jaruka is not a safe place, and they call, what do you call it? The frontier. The frontier, like Acre is like the frontier.
Frontier.
Yeah.
In Bolivia.
In Bolivia.
Yeah.
Very dangerous place to be, especially if you're a woman, and yeah. So it's pretty amazing what they're doing, and it's really amazing what Sarah's been able to accomplish in the last couple of years. And all the work that you did with Tashka, and then learning English, and then coming out here, and I'm so impressed and like grateful to be by your side doing this work.
I was about to say that despite all the adversity that the both of you and the Yawanawa people have experienced, and no doubt the Scottish First Nations have experienced as well, that there's some positive things that are happening. Like you're building villages and everything, and you told me, Hawk, that you're doing some amazing stuff. You're working on the 2 of you are doing some amazing things. So yeah, like, all right, lay it all out, man. Like to tell us, share with the world what what are you what are you so proud of doing, making, creating these days?
Well, so right now, well, the Scattercoke, what we've been able to do is we have 73 acres in here in New York, and we are working on an agro-food forestry project as a sustainable food systems project, but not just for today, but for the future generations. Like I said earlier, when everything's dependent on human intervention, food, water, and all of this, then it's not sustainable. Our farming practices are not sustainable. Our food sources are not sustainable. If we poison all the water and have to depend on somebody to clean it and add the chemicals that you need, the minerals, that you need in the water to survive in this dead water, then it's not sustainable. And so we've been doing a lot of research on how to properly, naturally filter water to make all the water that you use go back into the ground and not have to be filtered, but filtered through a living bio system, a living plant system that naturally filters everything out of all the bad stuff out of the water and brings all the natural nutrients that you still need in the water when it goes back into the ground. And so Omega has this beautiful living ecosystem, water filtration system that we've done a lot of research on it, and it really just goes back to the planet and what plants are here and that need to be here to filter these things out of the water. And so that's part of what we're looking into as far as when you're looking at planting trees, right? People always talk about planting trees, right? We talk, let's plant 1 million trees. Well, if we plant 1 million aspens, that's not going to make a difference. If we plant 1 million oaks, it's not going to make a difference. We need biodiversity. We need all of the foods, all of the medicines, all of the different fauna, flora that needs to be here, and we need the animals, right? So we need the bees, we need the bugs, we need the fungus, we need all the animals that are supposed to be here because we all complement each other. We're all part of the ecosystem, and everybody has a job. So if if we're just looking at New York, right? Because that's where I'm at. We have 18.9 million acres of so-called protected forest in New York. But these forests were devastated by destructive practices over the last 200 something years with the iron industry, the charcoal industry, sheep herding, the industrial revolution. New York is like ground zero, over here. And so what are we doing to fix this problem? What happens is that these forests get put into protection, state and federal, but they only get maybe between $30,000 and $50,000 a year to local municipalities to protect thousands and thousands of acres of forest. But not 1 pound of food comes out of these forests. None of that money can really go to forest restoration work. It basically becomes volunteer trail maintenance in the beautiful area of Connecticut and New York, where everybody loves the fall foliage because there's so many maple trees, right? But where are the pawpaws? Where are the chestnuts? Where are the all of these nuts and fruit trees that are supposed to be here? Apple trees have taken over, right? So they monocrop apple trees, but really the pawpaws are supposed to be in our environment, and they're a superfood in our environment. The bears need all these nuts and berries. We have, you know, in our woods, you might have 2 or 3 different types of nuts in any given area. You're supposed to have so many different nuts: hazelnuts, butternut, you know, black walnut, all these nuts that are supposed to be here, because bears we have to have the fats from the nuts to survive the winter, right?
Yeah.
But we're not adapting to our environment anymore. We're just like, every season doesn't matter. We're doing the same work, and we're, you know, but we're also not nearly as healthy as we used to be. You know, and if we don't go back and we don't honor the fact that it's not just about us, it's about the animals, the bees, the birds, the bears, the wolves, you know, all these pests that are supposed to be here. We're not fixing our ecosystem, and we're not helping our water. We don't have proper water filtration. We don't have proper food that is supposed to help us fight all of these diseases. And you know, we talk about indigenous peoples not having these diseases before because they're actually living with their environments. I just told you, her grandmother's 104 years old. That's common. That's common in indigenous communities.
Yeah.
You know, because we live from the land, and we're subjected to all these sugars and products that aren't real, and it's really taking a toll on our bodies. Imagine how amazing our bodies are to be able to filter out all the damage that we're doing on a regular basis, right?
Right. Yeah.
Can you imagine if we didn't have to filter all that damage out? You could live to be 200. You know, I read stories of our people, you know, 300 years ago, where a 300-mile trip would be nothing for them.
Yeah.
That Europeans could never catch up or keep up, or you know, our people like to fight. You know, like, they could never take one of us in a hand-to-hand combat, or you know, catch up to us on a trail. Never.
Yeah.
Never, no way. You know, the extreme health that we have from living with our environments is like superhuman. It really is. And we've forgotten this. All people have forgotten this, being separated from who we are on the planet. You know, and that's why we need so many hospitals. The more pharmaceuticals we come with, the more hospitals we need, the more crazy foods we're eating, and the more we allow people that don't dictate how much poison can be in the air and the water. It's fascinating to me. So it's like, I'm just dumbfounded by it. And the more that it comes out, the harder it is for me to be around it. The harder it is for me to be even in conversations with these people that are completely disconnected.
Yeah.
And I also feel like the only way to do it is to show people, you know. And so what we've been doing, and I'm sorry I got off track, but what we've been doing is bringing these foods and plants and medicines back to this little tiny piece of land that we have. And what we want to do is, you know, put a big greenhouse up so that we can grow saplings and everything, and just like start inundating the forests with them, you know, and give them to groups that need it, that want to do this type of work, you know. Put it on all the trails, you know. When you're on trails, you shouldn't be carrying everything on your back. You know, you should be, you know, living in the ancient food forests that were here for thousands of years. And so, so I really believe in this work. We're doing the same thing in Brazil.
The exact same thing. Okay.
Pretty much, you know, how so you want to explain about how you acquired the piece of land that you have? I mean, the Yawanawa territory was taken from them, and then they got it back.
Yes, we are the first people in Brazil to have all land
Demarcated.
Yeah.
the market. And yes, we have this in they made this in 2098.
98.
Yes, in 2098 they need to fix because we lose so many cemetery.
Yeah.
We lose so many sacred places, and they need to review, and they give to us 200.
200,000 hectares.
Yes, and our village today is in a place where the white people was living there already. Oshukubana village today is, and these white people was removed this all land after the government make this the market, and they destroy so many area there in our land. And what we are doing in Shukubana village is trying to fix this area because so many kind of fruits is not, the soil is not good anymore, and we have so many damage.
Yeah.
And we choose this place to make our place, make our house. Um, my father was coming with this idea from his father to create a place to live with the nature, to be able to eat our natural food, to fish, to hunting. It's not live like we should live. And we chose this place to try to fix the soil and work with agro-food forestry with my family. And we start plant banana almost 3 years ago, and today you have already some many different kind of fruit, and we think it's a good way for us to fix, because when we put so many different kind of fruit together, we
And
fix
vegetables, and trees.
yeah, and we think it's a good way to help the soil. And we start to plant banana, and now we just planted 300 acai, and we want to plant more there because we really want to put all different kind of fruit we don't have in our land. It's not only in Shukubana village, but in our land. Some fruit we don't have, and it's so hard because just don't working.
Yeah, because you have to fix the soil after it's been damaged by the monocropping before. Now, the interesting thing is, like, it's not all of Shukubana village, right? So it is still in the rainforest. It connects to the rainforest very closely. So what we want to integrate it into the rainforest, of course, being a natural food forest. That's been maintained by indigenous peoples for thousands and thousands of years. And there's still indigenous peoples that are uncontacted that live very close to us.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, they leave markers that they pass through the territory.
Yeah, they show us where they are there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We need to understand and respect the space too.
Yeah. So for people that people read a lot or see a lot on TV about like these uncontacted tribes, voluntarily uncontacted tribes. So can you explain like what the, lack of a better word, protocol is, like how you deal with when you,
like an encounter?
Right. Yeah. Something. Yeah.
Like, what he wants to know is like what happens if you accidentally run into them or there's an encounter. What is the protocol to not invade their space?
Yes. First, we don't want to be together because they very uncontacted tribe. They will run. will hide. They never will like
accept
this. They will protect themselves, you know. And
they see everything.
They
like,
see
it's
everything.
not that they don't know what's going on around there. I just want to be clear. They're not stupid.
They know all the area. They know all the ways. They know all the river. They know all the tree. They know where's the best place for the fish, where's the best place for hunting, where's the best place for sleep. They know everything. The nature. It's not like we are in the space. You know how they understand, they live there. We need to respect the space. We need to know its risk when we decide to come already. You know, it's not like, oh, they will be nice. No, they don't will be nice. They will protect the kid. They will protect themselves. They will protect the space, the community. You know, and we have like in Brazil. I think 3 months ago. Funai was sent a nice guy to the contacted tribe, and this guy was very nice with indigenous. He was his whole life living. This is what they said.
Yeah.
And they was sent this guy for some uncontacted tribe, but because they think they understand everything about indigenous, and they killed this guy. They don't like, it's not the intention, but they was protect themselves.
So, okay. So this was on the news. This was all over the place. I have a hard time with this story because this guy knows better. He's been working with the indigenous tribes in Brazil for a very long time. He knows not to deal with the uncontacted tribes at all. And at this time, Bolsonaro's trying to rally people against keeping uncontacted tribes so that they can continue to destroy the forest. And so I think, you know, the situation was that they were sending these people into this territory that they knew they shouldn't be going to. And so whether he was actually killed by this uncontacted tribe or not is kind of irrelevant. I think what the premise behind it of saying how dangerous these uncontacted tribes are, and that we can't have they can't have dangerous people out there in their territory, and it's an excuse to continue to deforest and make sure that all tribes are accounted for.
Yeah, that reminds me of two things. One is that I think it was somewhere in Southern Asia. Can't remember. It was a missionary that wanted to go to that uncontacted. Pardon me?
The island,
right? Island, right? Yeah. They killed him, but yeah, like it's.
But he went there 3 times. He went there 3 times. They told him to leave. He kept going back, and finally they were like, "Well, if you're not going to leave, we're going to kill you."
Yeah. You know, it is. Again, it's mind-boggling to me that, like, why you gotta respect people's opinion, or like people's. If a person said, people say no, like, well, we like to remain as is, as we are. Like, we don't need you to bring the word of God or whatever you want to spread in terms of any kind of religion it is. And then in terms of also what I've heard is that it's the people, especially during this pandemic, COVID pandemic, they were fleeing the cities, afraid of the virus, but they go into areas that are actually where indigenous peoples are, like, and where indigenous peoples live, and they carry the virus with them, and then
and then buy all the supplies that these people who have no money as to speak of as it is, like, can't afford to, you know. Oh man, there's so much bad to this.
Yeah, so it is, yeah, yeah, it's something that I still don't understand. And now, well, I do understand in a way that, sorry, it's very nuanced. It is that, people are super selfish, as in, like, as long as I don't get it, or as long as I survive, it doesn't matter if other people are affected, or are have it worse. It doesn't matter if other people, the local people, the indigenous people cannot get food, as long as I can get food, because I just drove away, or ran away from the big city, to the countryside, thinking it's that, yeah, it is just, so in that way, I yeah, it is such a, are we, is there any way that do you see anything that tells you that, people can be less selfish, or that this will change, outside of hope? Well, it is. Yeah. I don't know. It's a difficult question. I got it. I'll take a kombucha.
Do I think that people can change? I think that if you're programmed to something, you can be unprogrammed. I think that right now the problem that we have is such intergenerational trauma, not just indigenous peoples. I think that I think that non-indigenous peoples are dealing with a trauma that they don't even realize exists, from their separation from who they are, from their separation from, I go and I talk to people, and I ask people, I say, how many generations can you remember back? Can you, how many people here can remember 6 generations back? And generally I will not even get one hand. And then I say, how many people here can remember 4 generations back? And I'm still not even going to get half the people. That's erasure. That's trauma that you're not even acknowledging that you have, that you're not even dealing with. You've lost your language, your culture, your history, your stories, your seeds, your songs. Everything that it took to get you here no longer exists in your mind. We are, I said that we're animals, right? We need community. We need understanding. We need these things. And if they can take that away from you, if they can erase that, like, you're out here wearing a Halloween costume of a witch when your great grandmother was ripped in half, it's mind-boggling to me. If you can be that disconnected from your own history, of what got you here, we know it. We don't want people to dress like us, but they don't even realize that this is something that's hurting them, and that's a huge trauma. That's a huge disconnect from reality. One thing I wish we could do is remind people who they are, to get people to do that homework, to do that healing, to understanding who they are. Because I think that if people knew their own story, they would be way less likely to hurt somebody else. I think that they're so disconnected that, and it's by design. It's definitely by design. I mean, as long as they can take your history and your songs and take that away from you, they can give you a culture that they make up for you, because you need culture. And like, when I think about what's the culture of America, not indigenous America, when I think about what is the culture of America, football, beer, capitalism, control, consumerism. That's American culture, right? It's always like, if you work hard, you can be better than the next person. Why do I want to be better than the next person?
Yeah,
Why do we be better than the next person? Why can't we be together in this?
Always competition.
It's weird that's what they call it culture now, right? The American culture. The American dream is part of the American culture. That so yeah, I don't know. Like there's something that popped into my head that the American dream is try to pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps, right? And then getting as high as possible.
Okay, if everybody was on the same playing field, you don't even have the field. How can anybody say that? How can anybody say that? Pull up your bootstrap. I don't even have boots. You know?
Yeah.
You know? I get it. I totally hear what you're saying.
Yeah, it is. It is quite. What's mind-boggling to me? There's a lot of things that are mind-boggling to me, to be honest. When when they stormed the Capitol on January 6th, everyone knows where they were on January 6th by now. And the first thing, not the first thing, but when then President-elect Joe Biden said, "Well, this is not who we are." I was like, "This is exactly who you are.
Exactly who you are.
This is exactly who you are. You just getting a taste of your own medicine. That is, it's not even medicine by all means, but like it is such a crazy how things are. How is things Scottico First Nation? How are things going over there? Aside from, or maybe you want to include COVID-19 as well, but like in terms of like how are things in general?
So a lot of our people are inner city, right? Or inner city. Most of our people are definitely not on the res. We only have a couple people living on the res, right? Due to a whole lot of BS. But a lot of people are inner city. A few of our people work in mental health, and with we had a lot of deaths. We had a lot of different things go on. But one of the things that happened, and I really want people to understand this, is that Alonda works at a methadone clinic, right? Or a clinic. And what the government did and the CDC did was they forced them to give out 3 to 5 times the amount of medication to limit the amount of times that people would come in to get prescriptions for their methadone and their pain medications and stuff like this. So you are inundating the poorest communities with massive amounts of pharmaceuticals in a time when people are more depressed, where all these people are losing their jobs. They already live paycheck to paycheck, if you can call that living. And they, and then you're going to blame them for what happens next. This is what they're doing to our poorest communities. This is because it's the poorest communities that are dealing with this the most, right? And I'm talking about the Black, the brown, the indigenous communities are dealing with this exact thing. And so, and to me, you can't tell me that's not deliberate. You're going to leave the alcohol stores open as essential businesses. you're going to inundate the streets with 3 to 5 times the amount of narcotics. And then you're going to blame them when it becomes a shitstorm. You know, this is what we're dealing with in our community. You know, this is, you know, we have, I don't even know how to react to something like that, because to me, it's just so blatant. You know, you're going to leave the liquor stores open when the average alcoholic who drinks, you know, when he gets home from work, I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying like the average alcoholic will drink every day when he comes home from work. Now he's not working. The time that he starts drinking, and I'm sorry I say the time they start drinking becomes earlier and earlier and earlier and earlier. And then you have a massive influx of violence in the homes. You have a massive influx of divorce rate. You have a massive, like all, it's just stockpiling all this stuff. It just gets worse and worse and worse. And and to me, this again will target the most vulnerable communities. So how this is not racially fueled, I mean, I can't see how it's not racially fueled, and to show how bad we really are, you know, when we come out of this. And the interesting part is that through all of this, we have been the ones to keep our cool under pressure. We had the biggest Black Lives Matter movement ever happen without as much violence as what happened at the Capitol by the privileged.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, to listen to some of the complaints of these people, I didn't get to put a new roof on my house, or I lost my vacation time, or, you know, I want to go to Mexico on a retreat. You know, these were the complaints that I'm hearing from these people. Or I want my hair salon to be open, and, you know, stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, thinking to myself, are these people that are going to lose their house if they miss 2 paychecks? I don't think so. You know, we have, this country is so screwed up that they've gotten 1 stimulus check in a year. And I know families that's an impossibility, you know, for them in our community. You know, we can't have that, you know, and, you know, they go back to old habits. But they're staying as strong as they can, and I'm real proud of them, you know. But we've always been, you know, in an uphill battle with this system. I think that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah. Sara, I'm like, what was your first impression, actually, like going to Scottish First Nations, and yeah, like what were your thoughts when you walked around the community?
How I see you, Ghazali.
Yeah, how different, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the first is very dependent because we still live in community there. How you saw, how you live there, for me is real different here. And because there we make everything together still, like we have some challenge, like but how we are is still there. No, you understand? Makes sense.
Yeah.
No, you're making a
For me,
lot of
was
sense.
for me was the first impact for me, and special how they live here, everybody, and how white people live here, everybody live here, because anyway, it's for me was very strong to see, because there I know everybody knows me, everybody is community really, and here it's hard to. It's big difference for me. I think for me it was the first strong impact for me to see everybody so separate. It's like everybody so disconnected. Disconnected is the word.
And also, like you can talk about the attacks.
And yes, I can talk definitely. And how I am in look, everything's happening to you with all this attack, all these people, and it's make me think like what people is worried about today. It's what they want to put the time. They just because for me it's real like crazy, because I see you doing this amazing work. It's not because I'm your wife, I'm saying all this stuff, but how I met you, it was how you are already. And people don't respect this. They don't respect your worry. They don't respect your history, and they don't respect. They don't want respect. They want to control. They want to tell you you're wrong and you need to follow them. You need to do that, because if you don't do that, you is the wrong. And for me, it's not like it's real. Everything's very different for me here. Talk about this. It's about us. It's really deep for us. It's how I really feel. It's really crazy to see this here. And people really disconnected here. They need to be more connected. And I think I was listening when you was talking with him, and the first thing people need to have is connected. How they will be good. They will be doing the right things. How they will feel good. They will be happy. How they will be excited to do something. If they don't find themselves, if they saw disconnected, if they saw lose, and they follow the wrong things. They follow destruction. They follow bad feeling. I don't know how I can explain, because how you will be able to support like deforestation when it will kill all the animal, when people depend. We depend this, and you sound like you can't see, and I think it's disconnected when you can't see, not like that. I don't know if I explain like clear, but you want to have me?
Yeah, I think you're going with the tribe, and then you're going with the environment of the people in the area, and and also like mixing in the attacks that are happening against me. It's so different here, right? People attack people for the wrong reasons. And I think a lot of it has to do with colonization. Most of it has to do with colonization and their disconnection from reality. I could say so much about so many different things, like federal recognition and self-determination and all these different things. But also like, living in an environment where we have people across the street with Trump flags hanging from their garage door. I mean, you have to realize when we came out of the jungle, in October, we came into this crazy, the craziest time. You know, everybody talks about how bad Bolsonaro is and stuff, but at least I felt safer down there than I do here. At least there, our communities are so tight that you know who stands with you, you know, and will fight and will die with you. Here, you don't even know in your own communities who stands with you, and who will fight and die with you. And so, and this is a reality, right? Especially in Sara's world, where if other tribes are attacking you or other people are attacking you, that's a life and death situation. And so when I get attacked here, we had a little confusion the other morning. Sara was upset and I wasn't sure what was going on. And I thought, you know, why aren't you talking to me? What's going on? And finally, she didn't realize that she was like not saying anything. She just didn't want to bother me with what was going on with her. And so apparently she didn't sleep very well and woke up crying and upset, and told me that she said, why can't we just go to Brazil? Because she's worried somebody's going to come here and kill me. Because I'm being, you know, attacked by so many people. So, you know, and that's a reality for her. Like in Brazil, when other tribes say that they're going to come after you, they come after you. You know, I don't know if you know Tashka's history, but he was attacked brutally in his house with a baseball bat. And, you know, so many others have been killed, right? Here, you know, if you're not federally recognized or, you know, not going along with somebody else's agenda, they attack you. Usually with words, you know, depending on if you're on the res. If you're on the res, it's a different story. Then it gets a lot more violent and dangerous. But coming into that reality and realizing how separated our people are, and how you know, we are surrounded by people that don't like us, that have Trump flags hanging from their garages, and then have other tribes publicly slandering me. It's very confusing to understand why I'm fighting so hard for my people that are so colonized and lost, when I could be in the jungle with our family. But I want to help fix the problem with my people here too.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about what? No, sorry. What? I totally get it though. Yeah, it is the getting all these attacks by people, and I think whenever people, Indigenous people particularly, when they engage with one another or with the movement or within the United Nations or outside of it, is that, sorry, I should have put it differently. In my experience, because I've been attacked as well, like not as severely as in the situation that you described, but you get a feeling soon enough, and that's usually when you get at the moment you start making a difference. Well, when you really start to see the fruits of your labor, fruits of your work, that people love nothing more than to take you down, than to attack you, and it's so. And what it was at that point that I realized that I think that in the end, for Indigenous peoples, we are our own worst enemies. That we all talk about solidarity, but push come to shove, that it's not always the case. It's not always that rainbows and unicorns, I would say. Like people always think that Indigenous peoples are very much in solidarity with one another, and there is a lot of solidarity. Don't get me wrong. Like,
no, absolutely. I mean, I still, even with all of that, I feel a lot more comfortable in the permanent form than I do outside.
Yeah, and that's a strange part of it. That sometimes, you sometimes in the most politicized square feet of kilometer of mile real estate, that you feel the most comfortable amongst your own peers and people that are people, and these people like Sarah and everyone else, that because we all go through the same. Sometimes it is hard to cope with, and I totally get it. That at some point, like, what the hell am I doing this all for? Because I'm doing this with the right mindset. Like, I want to do this for you, for everyone else, so that we can live and breathe on this planet.
Right.
Meanwhile, people make it a sport of taking other people down, and it is beyond me. It is beyond me that there are people out there that do not see this way, and only use words as movement, human rights, solidarity, all these words just for the optics of it, as they don't give any meaning to it.
Yeah.
It is so terrible. Having to that we have to go through that as a movement, because we're already facing a lot of adversity, have a lot of enemies already, like big like not even countries, but private businesses and everything else.
Oh yeah.
The last thing we need is someone else, one of our peers or our neighboring tribes or peoples or whatever, to give you stink, just because they felt like it, or just because you are doing something that they wanted to do, but they can't have it. They can handle that you're doing well. So best way to like, I don't know, like what goes to people's minds, like when they wake up like that, like, I have a shitty life. Everyone should have a shitty life. Like, it shouldn't be that way.
Or do they have a shitty life? I mean, some of these tribes are making $100 million a year. So
really?
Yeah. I mean, so how do you have it so bad? I mean, I get you think you're the last real Indians, and that you still are mad that you got pushed out, but we got pushed out and we stayed, and most of our land is gone, and our houses were burnt down, and my father died an alcoholic, and we got federal recognition and got it pulled from us for some messed up reason. And,
what was the reason?
One of the reasons that we don't have federal, there's three reasons. one of the reasons that we don't have federal recognition is because there was a time period in the 1900s where we couldn't show that we had continuous community, which is because they burned our houses down on the res. They had militias moving us off the res, and and you know, literally like still dealing with the genocide. And so because of the genocide that happened to us, that we can't prove continual community through time of contact to now, which is amazing that we're still here, by the way, because I don't know if people know this, but on the East Coast here and in the islands, we suffered the largest genocide on the planet. And so it's pretty amazing that we're actually still here. But to actually be able to show continuous community throughout time of contact to today is a feat. And, you know, most of the tribes that can say that are out west didn't deal with the first 200 years of colonization and fighting. But they definitely love to own the genocide of North America without acknowledging the tribes that went through it. So I do have some issues with that. And I just feel like people should really like think about when you're not going to acknowledge the tribes of the East Coast that fought from 1620 to 1800 before they started moving out west. That because we have a little more variety of color in our skin due to how we had to survive on the East Coast, and because we don't fit into your criteria, doesn't make us any less Native than you. And it's really a miracle that we're still here. And I am so proud of our people. But because we don't fit certain criteria, even though we've had a reservation since 1736, one of the oldest reservations in the country, and most of these other reservations weren't established until the late 1800s. And yet we don't have federal recognition. And we got federal recognition in 2004, and it was pulled from us in 2005 because we had infighting with our own people, and we had we had a gap where it was hard for us to really determine leadership of our community and showing the continuation of our community. And other tribes actually helped Connecticut fight against our federal recognition, which is pretty messed up.
That is messed up.
So, I mean,
yeah.
It's public knowledge. You know, if you look at the 2002, 2004, and 2005 bids for federal recognition for the Scotticoke Tribal Nation, you will see that the federal government does not say that we are not Native. They have three reasons why they didn't, why they took our federal recognition in 2005. One of them is lack of community. Another one was that the group that went for federal recognition out of our people discluded some of our people and used names that didn't agree with them on their federal recognition status. And so because of the split in the tribe, they didn't grant us our federal recognition, or they pulled our federal recognition. But it wasn't because we weren't Native American or indigenous. And I think people should do their homework before they start attacking other people and calling them frauds or not indigenous.
Yeah, people are easy to judge. Actually, it's judging is easy because you don't need any additional information. You just like go with what you know, and that's it. Like you don't need to do anything else. And I think that is the problem, is that you just go with information that feeds your own ego, feeds your own how you think about things. And whereas it is much harder, but actually also much better to ask questions. You know, if you don't understand the situation, if you don't understand someone, why he or she or they do something that they are doing, ask a question. And I'm the first to admit that it's hard. It's hard to put your judgment aside and put yourself in a vulnerable position by just asking the question. But it is, yeah. I'm like, you cannot judge someone before you have walked in a mile in someone's shoes. Like that is, I truly believe in that. But you don't know the full context. I don't know. Like we know each other for so long, and still I don't know you, right? You know, I don't know the full context. So I could judge you for it, or I could ask you about it. I can ask you, or like get to learn, learn more about you. And I think we all should at least try to be in the mindset of seeing that lack of opportunity or lack of information as an opportunity to learn more from other people, instead of taking the easy route and judging other people. Because you guys are amazing. Love you guys. Like, why don't you like Hawk and Sarah? Like they're amazing. They've been like, the whole relationship is built on. It's not built, but has endured adversity, has gone through difficult times. You know, and by all means, like there will be a truckload of difficult times, but like you've weathered that, like, and you've weathered COVID, for crying out loud, you know, like, and you went through all these communities, and you spoke in front of all these chiefs, and lack of Portuguese, lack of Brazilian, lack of Yawanawa, and just made it happen. And yeah, you guys are married now, and it is, you gotta, instead of judging it, you definitely gotta be inspired by it, at least, you know, at least by that story.
Context, you'd be like, what are you, crazy? But anyway.
Yeah, like other people, and I think, and I think that is, and with the risk of sounding very corny, mushy, but I'm just gonna do it anyway, is love. You know, like, because that's what's the driving force of all this. Like, listening to you guys, unless you guys are very good at telling stories and tell me, like, you know, and like tell me stories, but like you can see, like, can sense the authenticity, like, and everything in it. And it's love. What there's such a stigma on love right now, on the word love. And that is too bad, though. And I'm first to admit, like, I had a huge difficulties talking about the word love, mentioning the word love.
You have a niece
years ago. What? I mean, what?
You have a niece, right?
I have a niece.
You have a niece? I thought you had a niece.
I have a niece. Yeah, I have a niece. Yeah.
Yeah, you love your niece?
Yeah.
I think, like, people need to relearn how to love. I think people need to learn how to love their partner the way that they love their child or their niece. Where that kid could piss you off, that kid could do anything, but it's not about that. It's not about you, you know, it's about that love, you know. And so if people could learn how to love the way that they love their children, and, you know, I think that there'd be a lot less problems in the world. You know, I think that people get into these situations where, you know, they're supposed to love somebody, they're supposed to be a certain way. the organizations that they go to on Sundays tell them that it's supposed to be a certain way, or all these factors that are put into it, and these expectations that are put into it, and the control and the rules and the guidelines that we're all supposed to accept as real, which none of it's real, none of it. I think that the only real reality that I've found is that, and I think I have like an exception. I think I think I have an exception though, because my son is schizophrenic. So I went through a lot of hard times with him. I had to bring him to work with me every single day for a long time. I couldn't get him the help that he needed. Like, one of the hardest things, and I think that, when you have a child that's prone to these issues, and then we're trying to indoctrinate them into this world that doesn't exist. It's like this phony idea of how we're supposed to be living on this planet, when they have a better idea than we do, because children are born connected, and then we have to tell them, they watch us every day how we fight this system, and then we're still saying, but you have to go to school and you have to do all your homework and you have to listen to come on, we're like, so you're telling me that we're living in a system that's wrong, but at the same time you want to indoctrinate me into this system that's wrong. And unfortunately, we're kind of stuck in, we call it being stuck in both worlds, right? But when you have a child that's already prone to or disposed or has the potential to have these issues, it gets exacerbated when we're trying to trick their brain into believing something that's false. And so when I had to deal with this and love him through it, with no matter what he did to me and no matter how scary it was, I had to love him unconditionally. And I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from him. I have to be careful how I say things. I have to be very mindful all the time when I'm speaking with him. And then meeting Sara and having the language thing, and really having to get to know each other and let go of all of these preconceived notions I have of American women and American relationships and myself, being so needy, not having what I needed growing up, so like all of these things have to let go of that and deal with my own trauma and acknowledge my trauma, and then learn how to love unconditionally, without ownership. I think that's what's missing in people's idea of what love is.
Yeah, like, why are people so afraid to love? Makes me wonder.
Like, I see you talk about this kind of stuff all the time. Like, you're a very loving person. You really want to like lift people up and hear what they got to say and dude, like so many people are
still there. There are people that see it differently, and that's what I mean with they don't see the full context. They see what they want to see.
Right.
Like people always see what they want to see. They never see the true you. That also depends on if you show the true you to people. That it's also, people wear masks, and people wear a mask that they show the other people, to their friends, at work, their family. So people always wear masks. But there's always, in addition, actually, that there are people that they want to see you the way they want to see you. Doesn't matter what you do. Like if they see you as a negative person, they will always see you as a negative person. Doesn't matter what you do.
I love what Grandmother Mary says. You ever talk to Grandmother Mary about this?
No.
Like, people tell me about my past. She's a Ojibwe. That anyway. Grandmother Mary would tell me, look, people tell me about my past and how horrible I was and all this stuff, and I say, well, it's probably true, and I hope it was good, and it is what it is, but I was in a blackout for 10 years, so I don't remember, but it's finding ways to let go. Like, we're not perfect. We're all human, right? We make these mistakes, and are we going to be able to, what's that?
Men don't do anything right at the first time. We always need like, multiple attempts. So yeah, for one.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we grow?
Absolutely right.
Can we grow from them? My father was a wicked alcoholic, violent alcoholic. And when I found my father again, I tried to have a relationship with him, and it unfortunately, he died before we could really fix things. But I grew up hating the man, like my whole life. Just this idea that I wanted to kill this guy, my whole life. And then when I met him, I realized there's nothing I can do to this man that he hasn't already done to himself. And then I really dug into our intergenerational trauma and what has gotten us to this point, and why are our people like this, and why is this the common thread of Indigenous peoples. And I don't want this for my kids. I don't want to keep repeating this over and over and over again until we don't exist anymore. I think that we can be better. And I think we get trapped into this blame cycle, and allowing the blame cycle to continue our bad behaviors, because it's not our fault. I mean, this happened to us, right? I should be angry as all hell. I should be furious all the time. I should hate everybody. I should never trust anybody. Like, why do I give a crap? I didn't have nothing. I was on the streets at 13 years old. I didn't have nothing. I was put into residential schools before that. What do I care what you got? What do you do for me? That's the kind of attitude I feel like, we can hold on to and have a legitimate reason for, but it's not going to make it any better. It's not going to change anything. It's going to continue to give that to my children and to my grandchildren. And that's what's going to be forever the Indigenous legacy, instead of thinking about, wow, how did we get here? Look at how strong our people are to be able to survive all of this. Yeah, we're messed up. Yeah, we got all these issues, but man, are we strong. How do we empower our people to come back from that? How do we say, you know what? I forgive you. I get it. I saw how close I was to being that, because I was. What can I do to help? What can I do to lead us out of this dark place that we were forced into? And I guess that's where I end up going. I loved my father through it. In the end, we didn't fix everything. Didn't have enough time. But my brother was a heroin addict for 15 years, and now he's been sober for the last 5 years. and I talk to them every day. This is what happened to our people. I can't blame them for the symptom, but I can damn well fight the cause. I can damn well work on the root, and I will love people through it, and I will be attacked by the people that are stuck in it forever, I'm sure. But all we can do is lead by example. I feel.
Yeah, no, such a powerful story, actually, and I think that. And thank you so much for sharing. I know I can imagine it's hard to share something so profound, personal. To share that in public. Thank you, the two of you. Thank you so much for being the two of you. For what you guys did, for what you're about to do in the future, and oh man, I just hope that at some point we can do this in person. Like just sit down, have a chat, and
Ghazali, you're not exiled from New York, and you're definitely not exiled from Brazil.
True, though. Yeah, that's true. But it is. I don't want to go through the hassle of doing all these things to get to
No.
New York.
No. After COVID,
But 100%. Like I have a list now. Like definitely, I have a list where I have to go to once this whole thing is over. That's first I have to go to Sami. That's one thing. I have to do a podcast over there, fireside chat, and then definitely. I've never been to Scatico. I've been for so many years and never been over there.
Yeah.
So definitely have to do that, and
love to do lodge with you, man.
Oh. Yeah, but just and have a feed as well. Just have a chat and a feed and everything else. But yeah, it is. It's thanks so much for sticking around with me for over 2 hours now, almost 2.5 hours, and I've learned so much from the two of you. And the thing is, I learned so much that I know a little bit more, but I also know a lot more of what I don't know. No, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah. Is there anything that you want to say, to round it up? Did I forget? Oh, by the way, did I forget anything? Be like, oh my God, because Sarah's like, oh my God, Ghazali, I can't believe you did not ask me about this, or you didn't, or Hawk. What is it? Something that we forgot to talk about?
Everything.
I don't know.
No.
I guess we can also do. We can always do an episode 2.
Yeah,
we can always do another. We can always do another episode. That's for sure. Because it's getting.
We touched on we touched on a lot of different things.
That's what I like about this conversation. You fly through it. You touch about different things. You go deep on something. You don't go deep on other things. And there's always, at the end or in retrospect, you're like, oh man, I wanted to talk about this a little bit more, or I wanted to say this, or man, say that. Which, and believe me, that previous guests have all said that, which always make me say, we can always do another episode. We could always have another conversation. So yeah, but sorry, what did you want to say?
I'm sorry, were you talking?
I don't know. And by the way, I'm drinking kombucha now because I had Damon the other day on the show, and he was talking about that it was so stupid. Actually, I think I should cut it into a clip. So while he was talking about the negative effects of uh, sodas and everything else. I was just about to drink I had a open up a can of Sprite. You know, it looked so stupid. Like and
oh, that's
and then,
great. I don't drink
Yeah.
soda at all, by the way. No.
Not anymore. So I'll stick to kombucha. But the funny thing is, well, I'm a moron. I'm an idiot. You know, so like it was Sprite sugar free. Like there's no such thing as sugar free. There's no such thing. They always replace it with something that's worse than sugar. So I was like, yeah, I'm stupid. So I had to like, for the rest of the show, because that was the only thing that I had. So like, all right, I gotta apologize. I gotta take a sip. So I had to like finish it, and then so yeah, after that I was like, you know what? I'll just stick to kombucha. I think that's the only thing that I'll allow myself next to water and tea to drink for the time being, because it's I feel like he explained the whole thing. Explained the whole thing to me about you know like. Taking care of your body and everything else. So,
and you, I mean, you've been working out and running for forever.
Yeah,
I don't understand how you didn't.
It's the optics of it. No, like it's all. You have to feel good inside, and I just knew that, like you know, at some point you just know that like I'm drinking too much soda or eating too much of this, eating too much of that. So that conversation with Damon was like, yeah, absolutely, you're right. So then I'm drinking kombucha right now, but like, hopefully I can maintain it for a while, that I stay away from soda and again, like I do run and exercise and everything else, but everything is closed. Gyms and are closed, so I'm just sitting behind my desk doing work, writing, reading, and everything else. And I just go for a walk and for a run, but that's it. So, so might as well pay attention to what you put into your body.
I think that's the key to the conversation today too. Like, what are we putting into our bodies, and how are we adapting to a new world, you know, and new old world, like, you know.
Yeah. What do you think that the new world or new normal will be?
I think that we need to really focus on community. We really need to focus on adapting to home, adapting to where we are on this planet, and focus on keeping where we are on this planet in good health, so that we can be in good health with the planet, you know. And also, you know, one of the biggest epidemics that's happened, bigger than COVID, is this internet fascination of mind control. You know, everybody is getting so hyper activated by these political stances or these QAnon conspiracies or whatever. And it's like, we were just talking to somebody about this, how you know, people get trapped in this tunnel, you know, and it's like this rabbit hole that sucks you in, and you get hyperactivated, but you got nothing else going on. Everything around the world seems like it's crashing around you. Your job's no good. You're don't know when your next check's coming. You don't know what you're going to do tomorrow. You don't know when the borders are going to open. Oh my God, the world's ending. No, it's not. The world's not ending. We're here now. You're actually here now. And we need to be here now. And we need to focus on, what if the world never goes back to your normal?
Yeah.
What's going to happen then? Are we going to stay locked in this limbo, or are we going to go outside and recognize where we are and learn how to adapt to where we are?
I think you're absolutely right that the nowadays you can find everything on the internet. You just Google it. You just type it into Google, and you will find. So in a way, you will get what you will find what you're gonna ask for. You know, like what you want. So we're always, unless you're willing to step outside of your own tunnel or outside of your own tunnel vision, out of your trench, you'll always see that's the data algorithm that's going to mess us up. Like if you don't like, if you're not willing to stand above it and look at it from a holistic, objective point of view, like be indigenous, man. Like you just see the pattern, you know, see the look at things from a helicopter view, you know, and see that everything is connected to one another. You know, it makes you put yourself into a mindset that I think at least that is what I'm very conscious and what I really believe in is that it will put you into a mindset of positivity, kindness, gratitude, and all these things. I think, I hope that will be the new the new situation. I don't want to call it normal, but like the new situation.
Well, what we're going to do in the next month is we're going to start tapping some maple trees, and we're going to make maple syrup, and we're going to give it away.
To Canada?
Huh?
No, okay. So maple syrup? Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, it's almost maple sugaring time. So, you know, go out there, you know, we do it with the buckets. I don't like hosing trees to trees. I like to have a relationship with each tree that we're tapping and then, you know, the whole process, and, you know, do the ceremony of boiling the maple and then, you know, give it to our community. And then, you know, in April, we're going to plant a whole mess of trees, you know, all different ones, but we're going to put in at least 1,000 between April and May. That's our plan for what the future is bringing for us. I mean, that's what's happening. And then we'll see what happens from there. And we don't know what the border is going to bring. We don't know what's going to happen next with, you know, whatever they're planning on their end. But for us, we have to be in the woods. so that's
be
what
in nature, right? Yeah. No, it's now I envy you guys, the two of you, for, again, I don't say this lightly, for what you guys did, the two of you did. We are in life, and not like, I'm not talking about like physically, but as like mentally as well. Super proud of you, of knowing the two of you, and I have a call with our fairy godmother. You know her from New York, Thelma Craft. After this, so I'll definitely like, yeah. I don't know. I'll just tell her how proud I am of knowing you guys. Which brought us all. She brought us all together, actually.
She really, literally did. She's like the keystone, right?
Yeah, she's like, yeah, it's like Damon said it. Like she's like the actually the fairy godmother of all of us. If you think about it, love her to pieces. Yeah. All right. I'll let you guys go now because it's getting dark over there.
Yeah.
So
well, thank you.
Thank you.
It's always awesome hanging with you, and like you said, I can't wait till we do it in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might take a while, but you know, like you guys endured something, and that inspires me. It's like, you know what? Patience. I have patience, trust, and everything will work out. So yeah, we'll do this one as soon as possible in person. Otherwise, we'll just do another virtual one. No problem. Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great evening over there.
Yeah.
And yeah. See you. All right. Bye.
Bye.